Hey guys. Let me know if you can see me in the chat so to let me know that everything's working okay. And as always, let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. Oh, from Quebec City. Just wait a little bit for other people to hop on. But happy Sunday. I hope that you guys are doing well. It's been a minute since I've done a live stream. I was like, I definitely need to hop on here. And honestly, I was like in the middle of editing my video and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not going to be done for tomorrow. So I was like, let me just hop on live. But I have a lot of really fun content coming for you guys just about my time in the United States, going to New York, Ohio, seeing friends and family. So I'm working on a few videos, so those should be up by next week at least. Originally from Pennsylvania, cool. Oh, New York City, I was just there. Oh, on the food markets in Paris? That's a good idea. I actually have a few near me, near my apartment in Paris. Ooh, Maryland. Cool. Good morning. Good morning. Ooh, hello from Jamaica. I've never been to Jamaica, but I've always wanted to go. So I'm very, very jealous of you right now. Philly in the house. Hey, hey. Cool. So I guess I'll just go ahead and get started. Oh, did I see another comment? So hey friends, for those of you guys who are new to my channel, I'm Tiff. I'm an American living in Paris, here to help you navigate life abroad, navigate life in Paris. And I'm currently in the United States right now, visiting friends and family for just a few more days. So I'm off to Paris later this week. But I really wanted to jump on and do this live stream, especially because I'm really looking for ways to use my platform to really help support you guys, whether it's through new YouTube videos, master classes. I'm not sure if you guys saw, but I recently launched a one-on-one service. So basically where you can book one-on-one calls with me if you guys have any questions about moving abroad, transitions, anything like that. But my question today for you guys is, how can I help? Like, how can I support you in whatever move you're trying to make? How can I help support in a transition? I don't know if you guys are into creating content for YouTube and Instagram. I think right now I'm just trying to figure out how can I help support you, because my intention right now is to share my light with So my intention right now is to share my light with others in a way that will enlighten them and create abundance for us all. So that's kind of my intention right now, just in life and my purpose. And, with this platform that I've built, I really want to figure out what I can create for you guys, what information I can share with you guys, again, whether it's through YouTube videos or, master classes. So the first master class that I launched was the Find a Job in France master class. And I'm actually right now thinking of a few other ones that I want to roll out maybe over the past few months to really help you guys in your journey. And again, it doesn't have to be just with moving to Paris. I, have gone through a lot in life. And I think I kind of wanted to share with you guys too, just the different things that I've experienced that I feel like I could help you guys with, if it's something you need help with, basically. So that's kind of where I am right now. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to go through a few things just in terms of, my knowledge and where I feel like I could be the most helpful for you guys. And then in the chat, feel free to, comment on, maybe what other master classes you might want to see, what other things I can maybe integrate into the one-on-one calls. Obviously, if you have any questions, this is your time to ask questions. This is also meant to be kind of like a live Q&A as well. But yeah, just really trying to figure out how I can better support you guys in your journey. Because I know it's not easy. And I say this, I think, in like all of my videos, like moving to Paris was not easy. Making the decision to move abroad was not easy. Even just like working, studying abroad, like in a new country, it's not easy. Tackling a transition, and it's like I've been there before. And I will say I don't know everything about everything, but I do think that I picked up a lot of wisdom and things along the way that could definitely help serve you if it's something that you need help with. So yeah, in this live stream, I'm really just here for you guys and looking for ways that I can help support. So I would say when I look at my list of ways that I feel like I could support you, and again, feel free to ask in the chat, or feel free to ask questions in the chat, or if there's things that you feel like I could help you with. But number one, obviously moving to Paris. So again, for any of you guys who are new, so for the one-on-one calls here, I'll send you the link right now. And after this live stream, I'll also put the link to it in the description box. So one second, I'll get that for you. Right there. And also I have the link in my bio on Instagram too. But anyways, so I feel like number one for me is obviously living in Paris, moving to Paris. I feel like it's kind of what my platform has been built off as of right now. So, of course, for any of you guys who are new to my channel, I was living in New York City before moving to Paris. I was living there for about 2 years or so. And I just got to the point where I was super burnt out, was feeling super stuck, had no idea what to do or where to turn. And a mentor had told me about studying abroad in France, and literally from the time I decided, okay, this could be a good avenue for me, the ball started rolling. And I went to a MBA fair. I came to France to visit the school. And just got so much confirmation that that was the right decision for me, but at the same time had a lot of friends and family telling me not to do it. And it was, it wasn't an easy decision to make, to leave everything that I know to be true, or not everything that I know to be true, but like everything that feels comfortable for me. It was really hard to kind of make that decision to move to France, but I am to this day so happy that I trusted myself and so happy that I did it. So if any of you guys are looking for advice around, oh my gosh, how do I tell my friends and family that I want to move? How do I quit my job? Like, I've been there before, and that's definitely something that I can share my knowledge on and how it worked for me. So that's definitely something I can help with. And especially for me, a big thing was just how to push past limiting beliefs. Like, that was something that was huge for me, and not only my limiting beliefs, but also the limiting beliefs of others. So yeah, that's definitely something that I feel like I could help with for sure. And then number two was getting to Paris, not just getting to Paris, but like navigating life here, which, as you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, it has not been a walk in the park. Like, yes, I love my life in Paris. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But as an American living in Paris, as a foreigner living in Paris, it's not easy. It's not easy. There can be red tape when it comes to so many things. And not even just that, but like overcoming the culture shock of, when I first got there, like, I am in a completely different country that has, different cultural norms and different ways of life. So it was a lot of adapting to that, and studying abroad. It's very different. I did an MBA program in France. It's very different from, studying in the United States, working in France, which I actually did do a Find a Job in France masterclass, which is also available on my website, where like I literally just went through like work culture, average salaries, just so many things that I had no clue about before moving to France that I wish I had had more guidance on. But you live and you learn. So again, more than happy to share advice on that. But I also do have that masterclass that could help you guys out a lot as well. So I feel like that's kind of the Paris portion. And then outside of that, and I don't really talk about this a lot, but or maybe I think I've touched upon it a little bit, But, I've worked in fashion merchandising for a major fashion brand. I've worked in fashion PR. In Paris was a creative and digital manager for a luxury beauty giant where it was my responsibility to manage multiple social media accounts, while at the same time, working with creative agencies to develop the content for these campaigns. So I have a lot of experience in that. And I really do think that that's what's helped me just in growing my personal brand on YouTube and Instagram. And, when I also sit down and think of the things that I love doing and love sharing advice on, it's like I really love, I don't know if you would call it building personal brands, but it's like I feel like we live in an age right now where everyone is their personal brand, whether they like it or not. Especially when it comes to showing up on social media. Like even if you're not trying to be an influencer or anything like that, it's like how you show up on social media matters. Especially when I'm not going to say every company will go and look at your social media, but it's like I think that social media has kind of become the way that we just kind of get a feel for who people are before actually meeting someone, if you guys know what I mean. And I feel like I love, figuring out, okay, the look and feel or the aesthetic or what should your tagline be when it comes to you creating your personal brand. It's something that I love to do. It's, something that I love to do even just with my business is, figuring out, okay, what do I want to stand for? What do I want my look and feel to be, my aesthetic? And it's definitely something that I can share advice on, one, with it being something that I love to do and just how I built my platforms, but two, it's, what I was doing when I worked in the luxury beauty industry. Like I was basically I was the creative and digital manager, and I was responsible for the look and feel of the brand and how we showed up on social media. So that's definitely areas where I can help on for sure. And I've been thinking, like, should I do a masterclass on that? Is it something that maybe I should more so integrate just into the one-on-one calls that I have out right now? But yeah, if you guys are seeking advice on that, definitely let me know in the chat. And I would say the next bucket is also maybe more personal matters. So kind of how I was sharing before, like tackling a major transition in your life. And I know I talk about this in other YouTube videos, but like I've been unemployed multiple times. And in so many ways, I feel like it's kind of pushed me into wanting to do my own thing and pushing me on this path, which I honestly feel is so right for me and is so aligned for me as, working for myself. But I've been there before. And I know, especially in this day and age with the world getting turned upside down, I feel like a lot of people did find themselves unemployed, and it wasn't easy. I mean, it wasn't easy for me when, I was trying to figure out that piece of my life, a year and a half ago. So it's like, I know how it is. I know it's not easy. And it's definitely something that I feel like I can share so much advice and wisdom on, and not even just being unemployed, but like tackling any major life transition, whether it be moving to a new country, starting all over, making friends, quitting your job, starting a new job. Like I've been there before. I know it's not easy. And, I'm here to support and share my wisdom on all of that too. And even just thinking of, the content of my YouTube channel and where I want that to go. It's like I love sharing about my life in Paris, and that's definitely very much going to be a part of my channel. But I also think about just, more personal things that like I experience every day. Like I'm experiencing honestly so much right now. And it's like, I really want to kind of be more, I don't think it's about being more open, because I do feel like I'm very open with you guys just in terms of like what's going on in my life. But it's like, if I can just share more wisdom just based off of real life things that have gone on outside of just, the fun stuff about being in Paris, it's like I'm more than happy to do that, and I want to do that, just because I just gained so much from learning from other people and their stories. And if you guys can learn more from me, I'm more than willing to help share, So that's kind of what I've just been thinking in terms of, where I feel like I can help, and kind of want to see if that's aligned with what you guys need help with for sure. Because life isn't easy. And it's like, even just as I become more of an adult and mature, it's like there are so many shifts and changes that I felt in my life, even over the past few months, just with relationships changing in my life, and it's just so many things, guys. Like I could honestly go on and on about it, that, things that I've had to figure out. And if I can, again, use that knowledge to help you guys, I'm more than happy to do that. So I'm going to look in the chat for a bit just to see if there's anything. Ooh, that's a good question. So, okay, so where can you find the one-on-one schedule? So I just put that in the chat. Well, there are a few slots left for this kind of like August, early September timeframe, but I'll let you guys know when I launch new slots in September. But yeah, check that link out. If you check that link out, and again, feel free to email me if you're on my email list, if you don't see a slot that works for you, and we can figure something out. So then someone asks, do you suggest signing up for French classes right away to help learning more? If you want to move to France in the future, I would highly recommend learning French. Although I do think in this day and age, there are a lot more free resources to learn French, if you don't want to necessarily pay for French classes and for a French teacher. There are a bunch of really great podcasts. Like I've been listening to Duolingo a lot, and I love it because they have both like French and English. Like I think they kind of tell the story in French, but then the narrator kind of explains everything in English. And it's been a really cool way for me to learn the language. And again, this is if you don't really want to dive into paying for lessons. There's also a cool platform that my friend had found. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's free. And it's basically a way it's almost like a language exchange where like if someone's looking for help from a native English speaker and they're a native French speaker, you can kind of swap. So that's something you can look into. I'm going to have to get the name of that for you guys because I honestly can't remember off the top of my head. Also Netflix. So yeah, I do think if you are planning to move to France, get on it as early as you can. If you are in the position where you can pay for classes, that's amazing. Do that. But I think that now more than ever, there are so many free resources for you to learn too. So you can definitely look into that. And then just because I saw this pop up, someone said, are you learning French? Yes, absolutely. I've been on my French learning journey for, the time since I set foot here. I've been using, Lingoda, which is what I talk about in a few of my videos. I do have a few lessons left with Lingoda. I've also been using Preply, and I love my French teacher on Preply too, if you want more like consistency, but I think it's a bit more expensive than Lingoda, so something to keep in mind. So I'll write these down for you. So Lingoda and Preply are the two main ones that I'm using right now. And then also, like I was saying, Duolingo, there's an app called Kiosk too, which has been great, but I'm pretty sure you can only use it if you are living in France. So that might not help you guys if, again, you're not living in France yet. But those are the two main ones that I've been using. And then, of course, like the podcasts. And then someone said I think a few people said, like, how do you find your niche for YouTube? And generate income from YouTube? So really good questions. So I can share a bit about that. And then if you want to dive deeper, definitely check out the one-on-one calls that I have. But I will say first and foremost, when it came to me finding my niche, honestly, I just thought about, what did I need help with? Like what are the things that I could have used advice on when I was first moving to France or just in life in general? And that's really, guys, when I really think about it, that's where my YouTube channel, that's where the niche came from, is me sitting down and being like, what did I need? Like, what did I need? Or, who could I have learned from, when I was in the position of my life, when I, had to make this, when I took this huge risk in moving to France. And again, that was just because, I was living in Paris and I was just, like, how can I help people? Kind of what I'm doing with you guys right now. I was literally just like, how can I help based off of the different experiences that I've had in my life? And of course, at that time, when I started my channel, like a year and a half ago, moving to Paris was basically the biggest thing that I had done in my life to date. So I started thinking, okay, what did I need help with? Or, what are things that or mistakes that I made that I would never want, my friends or anyone to have to go through, because when I started this channel, I really looked at it like, you guys are my community, you guys are my friends, you guys are people who I want to help support. And, that's when I started making videos about, number one, like getting kicked out of my apartment in Paris. I would never want any foreigner to have to go through what I went through with that situation. It was pure hell, you guys. It was not fun. And I see how I was taken advantage of. And I was just like, wow, if other people heard the story, they wouldn't have to go through what I went through. I wish someone had shared that story with me before I, went into it, because it happens all the time. I'm not the first person who's gotten kicked out of their apartment in Paris. So I made a video on that. When I thought about, studying abroad in Paris, I had no idea what that really would look like before actually moving here. So I made a video on that. So for me, it was a lot about, again, how can I use what I've learned over the years to help other people. So that's really how I found my niche. And in terms of generating income from YouTube, so in order to even start generating income from YouTube, you need to be a part of the YouTube Partner Program. And I'm pretty sure it's still the same now, but a year and a half ago, when I was first getting into it, the rule basically was that you need to have, I don't want to say this wrong. The rule was, I believe you have to have 4,000 watch hours. So basically, it doesn't matter. 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers in order to start monetizing on YouTube. So that basically means, regardless of how many people actually viewed your content, they would have had to all, like collectively, with all your videos that are on your channel, they would have collectively had to view 4,000 hours worth of content. Because, and I'm not sure if any of you guys know this, but with YouTube, when it comes to actually generating income, what matters most is the views or the watch time. Because the views and the watch time, like even for me to put advertisements in my videos, I think it's like up to 10 minutes, you can put like one advertisement, and then 10 minutes plus, you can put multiple advertisements in your videos. And you're actually generating income from the advertisements that are placed in your videos. So that's something to know when you want to start a YouTube channel. And again, I could go on and on about this, but if you have more like detailed, nitty gritty questions about how to start a YouTube channel, definitely look into booking a one-on-one call with me. I'm, more than happy to chat about that. So that's something for sure, but I'll kind of leave you with that in terms of like how I found my niche and how I generate income. But I feel like that's kind of the basis of what you would need to know. And someone said, welcome back. I think your Instagram in your description. Oh, maybe I put the wrong. Oh my gosh. Sometimes when I'm putting my link in the description box of my YouTube channel, it cuts off part of my Instagram name. So when people click on it, it goes to the wrong link. So that's my bad. I'll put it in the chat for you guys just so you have it. But yeah, I'll update that. 1 second. I will put it in the chat box for you guys, and then I'll update it for you too. So it's right there for you. Ooh, what do you need as an entrepreneur in France? So guys, in so many ways, I'm still figuring this out. Like so much comes up like every month. But I will say, to be an entrepreneur in France, you need to get on something called Auto Entrepreneur. Again, this is something I can probably like walk you guys through better on a one-on-one call. But if you Google Auto Entrepreneur, it's really easy to like also like figure out like what. It's also like easy to kind of figure out what you need, but like that's what I had to do was get on. It's basically like a status called Auto Entrepreneur. So definitely check that out for sure. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I've been enjoying my time here. So, okay, what other questions? Nowadays, in present, Is it possible now to get a longer lease for an apartment with talking rather than forcefully? I'm not sure if I fully understand your question. Is it with talking rather than forcefully a French guarantor intercepting? If I'm being honest with you guys, I'm not entirely sure. So I've been in the apartment that I've lived in for almost 3 years now, and I haven't really had to be on the apartment hunt since. So, I mean, I just know at the time when I was looking for an apartment, like I just went through all of the motions. Like I made sure that I had a dossier, which is basically like uh, and it's honestly, if you guys book a one-on-one call with me, I can also like even give you guys the one that I had to show because I have examples of it from again when I was looking for an apartment. But it's basically something that has like your name. It has, well, obviously your name. I think you also have to show like your guarantor if you have one, working status, like all of the stuff that you have to put on this dossier. Basically, it's basically like your resume to getting an apartment. When I was on the hunt and with my apartment, like they were willing to accept a non-French guarantor, like it was okay. But again, and I think I've talked about this in the past too, it's like to get my apartment, I remember like HR at the company that I was working for at the time literally like got on the phone with the landlord just to share that like I was in good standing and all of that stuff. I don't think it's that complicated for everyone, but I do know that finding an apartment in Paris is not the easiest. And I've actually been thinking of doing a masterclass on that where like I just talk about the different agencies and maybe if I could even get like an expert, like someone to help facilitate that, let's see. But yeah, that is something that's been on my radar because I know it's not easy and it wasn't easy for me. So I know. And I actually have a video up, I think a few videos up on my channel just on like my apartment hunting process and some of the websites that I used. So definitely, honestly, off the top of my head, I can't even remember, it was so long ago, but you can definitely check those out too. And again, if you have more detailed questions or, you know, really need help walking through the process, my one-on-one calls are there for sure. So someone said, would love to see more solo trips. I recently came back from Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, like solo traveling. Again, when I went to the south of France, that was my very first time taking a solo trip. And as I said before, I was nervous. It was definitely outside of my comfort zone, but I did it and loved it. So would definitely love to take more solo trips for sure. So where do you sign up for the one-on-one calls? No worries. I'll put the link in this chat for you again. No worries. Keep asking. And afterwards, I'll put the link to it in the description of this video. But you can also, just in case you miss the link in the chat, I also have it on my Instagram. You can literally go to my Instagram profile and click book now, and it will take you right to the page where you can sign up and book a call. So that's available to you guys. Oh, someone said, thanks for sharing your experiences, the good and the bad. It really helps. Oh, you're so sweet. No, of course. And honestly, again, as I was sharing earlier, even like with finding my niche, it was all about like, how can I help? Honestly, like, how can I help support other people? Like, what are the things that I wish I knew? And I really just want to continue to do that, which is why I'm asking you guys this question too, like, how can I help? Oh, that's a good question. So someone said, any tips on showcasing local businesses for content without spending a ton? My audience is still really small, but I don't want to go broke sharing to my community. That's a really good question. And it's like, what I love doing, honestly, and like what I do is instead of kind of staging it like, okay, I need to spend like, hey, I really want to feature this and I need to spend XYZ amount of money. I really just incorporate my YouTube videos into my everyday life. Like if I know I have plans to see friends at a really cool restaurant, I'll just videotape it instead of feeling like, okay, next week I want to feature this restaurant and I need to spend money at this restaurant. It's like, I honestly just incorporate things into my day-to-day lives versus kind of doing it in a more staged way, if that makes sense. It's like when I share with you guys, I really just try and do it more organically versus it being like, I guess versus it being like, I really want to do, this thing and I need to spend a bunch of money on stuff. Like, for example, even my Black owned Paris video, it was more of, okay, I knew I was going to go to Gumbo Yaya that day. I knew I needed to get my nails done. I knew I was going to be in certain areas. So I was like, wait, there are a ton of Black owned businesses here. Let me just do a video around that. So and especially when I was just starting out too, what I tried to do was, more so incorporate my videos into my everyday life versus feeling like, I had to spend a ton of money to create a video, if that makes sense. So that's what's really helped me. And I hope that helps you. Yes, I've been enjoying my time in the United States. Honestly, it's been so great to be home. It's kind of, when I first got here, it was kind of like weird just because like I hadn't been home in so long, just like adjusting to certain things. And it was almost like I had like reverse culture shock in a way. Like I was even telling my friends in New York City when we were like going out to lunch and dinner, I was just like, the waiters are so like in your face. And not to say that anything's bad about that. I just think in France, I was so used to like the waiter taking my order and then like leaving me alone for 2 hours. But here it's like they're constantly checking in. And I know it's different with tips and everything, but like that's definitely something that has been a difference for me. Someone said, you're a great mentor for young girls. I've shared your channel with some of my friends so they can watch your channel with their daughters. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much for sharing. Honestly, I appreciate you guys so much, like how you share my content, how you support my content. Like it really means the world. So thank you so much. Oh gosh, any tips on apartment hunting in New York City? Oof, that was a long time ago. The last time I looked for an apartment in New York City, that was what, 6 years ago? That was a long time ago. And I feel like so much has changed. All I can say from what I remember, it was tough, not as tough as finding an apartment in Paris, but it was tough. I think that me and my friend, because I was looking with two other people for an apartment, and we ended up just splitting the cost of hiring someone to help us. And that was also because like I really had no clue what I was getting into. I do know that there are a lot of websites. Honestly, I feel like so much has changed. So I honestly don't even feel like well equipped to give advice, but I feel like that's the most I can say. So someone says, which VPN do I use in France? So it's called Unlocator. Here, I'll put it in the chat too. That's the VPN that I use. I just put it in the chat. And I think I only pay like $5 a month or something. It's really not that expensive. And let's see what else. Someone said, I know making French friends is important, but how do you meet English-speaking people in France? And then someone asked, do I plan on having Black French guests? I plan on having all the guests, honestly. I do. I would love to. I think I really just need to like sit down and figure out like how to plan everything. Honestly, guys, I am the worst with organization. Like even when I'm doing my YouTube videos, I feel like it's just kind of like a weekly thing that I do. So I'm in the process of honestly figuring out a lot, just content for my channel and all of that fun stuff. So I plan on having all of the guests. I think it's just a matter of figuring it all out. And making friends, how do you meet? So honestly, when it comes to making friends in France or in Paris, I did a whole video on this too, so you can definitely check that out. But I've made friends pretty organically, mostly through the organizations that I've been in. So number one, I made friends through my MBA program. And, I think what's hard with living in Paris, and I've said this to a lot of my other friends too, it's almost like New York, where I feel like a lot of expats anyways, they don't stay here forever. So I feel like because of that, my friend groups have just changed every year, just with people kind of, coming and going and moving and leaving. I mean, when I look at my life in New York City, it's like I lived there for 2 years. And honestly, a lot of the people that I was there with don't even live in New York City anymore. And I feel like that's kind of the same for Paris. But I would say the more organic ways that I've made friends is one through my MBA program. Of course, I met a lot of friends there. None. I mean, I do still have there are still some people here from my MBA program, but I would say my two closest friends moved back to their home countries. Another way I met friends kind of organically was also kind of through my network in the United States. So a good friend of mine was interviewing someone an American who was living in Paris. And she was like, "Oh, you live in Paris? Like my friend lives in Paris." And she kind of helped connect us. And then we became friends. And she kind of introduced me to her group. But like now she lives in Amsterdam. One of them lives in Senegal. One of them lives in Ohio. So like no one's really here anymore. And then when I was working here, I met a lot of really great friends because I worked for an American company, but it was also an international company. So there were people from everywhere. Again, it was an English speaking job. So I met a lot of people that way. So I would have to say, I guess I made the most friends pretty organically through organizations. But again, guys, like when I think of my support system in the United States versus my support system in France, it's like I definitely have a lot more people here in the United States. Obviously, I feel like my friends in France, I've met a few like really good friends, but like I'm still kind of growing my community and my network there too. And I just think it just comes with, being a foreigner in a new country, and even though I've been there for 4 years, as I was saying earlier, it's like my groups have just changed so much just because, people, I mean, not to say it's true for everyone, but it's like, I feel like Paris, again, is one of those cities where people kind of are floating in and out of. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. How am I coping with the vaccine passport situation? So I honestly haven't really had to experience it yet, just because when they initiated that rule, I was here in the United States. So we're going to see what happens when I go back to Paris. But I do have like everything. So in France, when you get the vaccine, I'm even going to show it to you guys. In France, when they give you that vaccine, you have to, how can I show it to you guys? Everything is on an app basically. And I found that that's very different from here in the United States, where like all of my friends and my family, they basically have everything on like a card. Okay, this is inappropriate. So I'm going to report. Okay, cool. That was really inappropriate, and I apologize for anyone who saw that in the chat, but I've hidden reported that person. What was I going to say? Oh, so the vaccine passport. So in France, basically when we get our vaccine, we put it on an app called anti-COVID, and this is very different because in the United States, basically there is I guess you get like a laminated card. Thank you so much. Yeah, for anyone who saw what just happened in the chat, if you could please block and report. That was so inappropriate. So anyways, so there's basically this, it's called anti-COVID, and it looks like this. And you basically you click like open your wallet, and you basically have like everything there. And it's very different because here, like you have to literally carry around a piece of paper. So this is very convenient for me just to show. So yeah, so that's kind of how it works here. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, so honestly, I talked about the entrepreneurship stuff a bit earlier. Honestly, there's so much, like I feel like I'm still kind of in the process of figuring out so much, but what I was sharing earlier is that basically the status you have to be on is auto entrepreneur, and I'm happy to share more about this like in a one-on-one call just because it's kind of complex. But auto entrepreneur is basically the status you need. Someone said, "Hey Tiff, you said something about organize your channel." Someone said, "Hey Tiff, you said something about organizing your channel. Do you have a manager?" So no, I don't have a manager. Literally, I'm just a one-woman show, and I think that that's what's been so hard, just about like, you know, getting everything together, because it's like not only do I have my YouTube channel, but like on the business side, I have the master classes and the courses and like trying to figure all of that out. I'm not gonna lie, guys, it's like the hustle has been real. It's Oh, so to report and block, I don't know if you guys can see this, but like when I go to the person, there are like three little dots kind of next to their name, and I can click report, remove, put this user in timeout, or hide. So those are the options that I have, but you guys can let me know if you guys have it too. But anyways, when it comes to organization, so again, no, I do not have a manager. Um, I'm literally a one woman show, as I was saying. And it's been a lot, guys. I'm not going to lie. It's like, I think right now I'm kind of trying to figure out, one, the best way to organize my content, two, when wanting to even provide like master classes and things to you, trying to figure all of that out. I also have an email list, which I have not been the most consistent with. I mean, usually I actually forgot, even before I did this live stream, I wanted to send out an email just saying like, hey guys, I'm going live. Totally forgot to do that. So I'm definitely like not the perfect entrepreneur. I feel like no one is. I feel like I'm learning so much. I've kind of only been in this for a year and a half. But I will say it's like I really try and use tools like Asana or Notion just to kind of help organize myself, if that makes sense. So I try and use tools like that. And I'm trying to get more organized. And it's like, I feel like I'm very much a creative person. Like I'm very much a like go with the flow, but I'm also realizing like when you're running your own business, like you can't really do that. So yeah, it's definitely not easy. Oh, hey, Gijor. She said, have I considered investing in a virtual assistant? Yes, it's definitely something that I've been considering just to kind of help me out. It's definitely something I've been considering. And honestly, I feel like when I get back to Paris, I'm going to be in full like planning and organization mode. I feel like I kind of fell off a bit just being in the United States and, really wanting to see friends and family and all of that stuff. I feel like that was kind of my priority while I was home. So when I go back, I'm definitely going to get back into it and figure all that ish out. So yeah. Oh, someone said, "Can I do a masterclass for the auto entrepreneur stuff?" That's actually a really good idea. Thank you for that idea. I think it could be interesting to do a masterclass just about like getting yourself started as an entrepreneur. Especially because I feel like, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, I feel like because when the world was turned upside down a year ago, I feel like there were a lot of people who kind of decided to go on this path to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of things changed, and there are a lot of people who kind of started to question their 9 to 5. And I honestly would love to chat more about that, maybe on how I found my path to entrepreneurship, how I'm handling it all, just like doing it from France or from Paris. That's a really good idea, and that's definitely something I'm going to take into consideration for sure. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Someone said, what's the, sorry, hold on one second. So someone said, what's the procedure for using the Eurostar when traveling from Paris? So I've actually only taken it once. I really need to get back to London, but I've only taken it once. It was really easy. I think you can just take it from, I think I took it from Gare du Nord, if I remember correctly. But it's yeah, you just book your. I think you can just book your ticket online, and they will literally have like the station that you need to go to and everything. So yeah, it's very simple. I'm not sure how things have changed over the past year and a half, but when I went, I think back in 2018, 2019, it was really simple. When I got my vaccine card, it wasn't laminated. Yeah, I was shocked when, I mean, I don't know. I know all countries handle things differently, but I would just be afraid that I would lose it, and I know that I think my parents too have like taken a picture of it. Someone said you deserve the break. Thank you so much. And it's like I hear you, and I feel like for me, it's like I'm always like go 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 go, and it's almost like I even feel more comfortable when I'm just like go 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 go. To the point where like when I was home, I will say I was filming a lot. Like I was filming a lot. Editing, I've been trying to keep up with editing. Obviously, I wasn't able to get a video out for today just because like other things came up. But like I think I'm and something that I've been learning to like over this trip and over the past few months is just giving myself grace. It's like I feel like I'm definitely someone who just really tries to keep up with it all and just really tries to go, go, go all the time. But it's like, and if I miss an upload or feel like I can't create content or whatever, it's like I find myself feeling really bad. But it's like I'm really learning to just take a step back and give myself grace and just know that like I'm doing the best that I can, like in anything that I do, whether it's creating content, whether it's with like other things. It's like I'm really learning to just be like, Tiff, you're doing the best that you can. And yeah, so I'm really trying with that. But thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. So I so someone said, what train did I take to Nice? So I actually flew to Nice. So I didn't take the train, I flew. And then when I got to Nice, I'm pretty sure it was the SNCF that I was taking, like to go between like Antibes and Cannes and all that stuff. So someone said, would you recommend living in France to someone if he gets a job in both the US and France? Oh, so do you mean like if you got a job in the US and got a job in France and you were trying to figure out which one? Ooh, that's a tough one. Here's what I will say. I definitely think the United States pays you more. Like I feel like the salaries are higher. And I also feel like in the United States, especially if you're working in more of like a business corporate setting, they're definitely taking into consideration, that you probably had to pay for undergrad, that you probably had to pay to get your MBA. So I feel like they kind of take all of that into consideration when it comes to your salary. Um, Whereas I feel like in France, they're really not taking that into consideration as much when it comes to your salary. But at the same time, and salaries are lower, but at the same time, it's like I feel like you have more room for work-life balance. And again, I'm only coming from the experience of working in corporate in the United States. So I worked for basically not a luxury, but I worked for one of the largest fashion retailers in the world. When I was working in the States. And I also worked for more of a boutique PR agency. So I have both of those experiences, plus, the working in corporate here in Paris. So this is the perspective that I'm coming from. It could be different if someone hadn't experienced that. But from where I'm coming from, it's like I definitely see like working in corporate in France. I did feel like I had a bit more of work-life balance in the sense that like I had more vacation days. Like my very first year working, I had 5 weeks of vacation. You also have different benefits. Like I take a restaurant, which is money to put towards groceries. Healthcare is a lot less expensive. So you know what I would do? I would sit down and make a list of non-negotiables for you. Do you know what I mean? Like if you value having vacation time and that's something that, you would never negotiate on, put that on your non-negotiable list and make that list. And then I would sit down and be like, does the US or France make sense? Because it's different for everyone. Like what I might find as a priority would be different for you. So I would definitely sit down and think about that and then go through like, would France be able to support me in this? Would the US be able to support me in this and go from there? Because I think that there are pros and cons to both. So I hope that helps. Oh, for hair, definitely recommend Chateau d'Eau. Definitely recommend Chateau d'Eau. So for my personal place, I'm not going to share the contact, and it's only because it's really close to where I live, and I'm right now, I get that you guys are all really great people, but I've just been learning a lot about just having boundaries when it comes to social media. So once I move to a new apartment and all that stuff, happy to share. But right now, I would just recommend going to Chateau d'Eau. Yeah, security is always a must. And it's like, I'm really learning. And it's like, I know you guys are like all like really great people, but like there honestly have been some situations. And I don't know, I'm just really trying to be careful. But Chateau d'Eau is the place to go. And also Chateau Rouge too. Would you recommend oh, sorry, I already read that one. As a foodie, would you ever do a video taking a French cooking class? Oh my gosh, that sounds so fun. That's a really good idea. I'll definitely have to think of that and consider that. Like it'd be cool to take like a French pastry making class or something. I'm gonna look into that. Thanks for that idea. Um, Oh, so someone said, is France safe for a solo woman traveling? So I can really only speak to Paris and the south of France because those are the only two places that I've can say that I've really experienced completely solo. Um, and I will say, like in the south of France, I had a great time by myself. I never really felt like I wasn't safe. I honestly want to do a whole video on like advice for solo travelers, just like things to do and things not to do, because I feel like if you travel in a safe way solo, like you will be okay. And I also, when I went to the south of France, I just kind of made sure that my trip was very well planned out. So I wasn't just like walking the streets, wandering around or like looking lost. I feel like that's really important when it comes to solo travel. And I feel like because I kind of organized my days, I was okay. In the south of France, and I personally felt okay. And then in Paris, it's like I've never really felt super unsafe like in Paris. But again, I feel like if you know where you're going, if you know the places that you want to go to, it's okay. I know that there have been a ton of people who have taken solo a ton of people who have taken solo trips to Paris and have also felt safe. So, from my perspective, given what I've personally experienced, I feel okay. I would definitely encourage you to get a second opinion or look on forums because I know it's different for everyone. But personally, I felt okay. And I also think it's about you yourself being safe as a solo traveler in the way that you approach going to places too. So I would actually love to do a video on that. I need to write this down before I forget. Video on solo traveling. Okay, I'm going to take a few more and then I'm going to hop off because I actually have to meet my friend in about an hour. Yeah, definitely got to be safe. How did I learn French? So guys, in so many ways, I'm still learning. I do speak French, but like I really want to be more conversational and whatnot. It's definitely been a journey for me. But I was sharing earlier, I've been obviously like watching Netflix. I really love this website called Preply to find French teachers. I've been using that a lot recently. There's also Lingoda, which I've talked about a lot. And French podcasts. Because what I'm learning through like all the French teachers that I've had is that like even if you're just starting out and you really don't know any French, it's so important to train your ear to the language, which is why like Netflix helps and podcasts help, especially when you're first starting out. And then yeah, I mean, of course, I would recommend if you feel like it's right for you. I mean, but at the same time, it's like I feel like there are so many ways to learn French now where you don't actually have to hire someone. So definitely look into those first. And I'm going to try my best to even maybe like make a list of those for you guys. But right now, I do have a French teacher. So someone said I did Paris solo and felt fine the entire time. Yeah, know where you're going, pay attention. Yes. What online health insurance companies are good? Oof, honestly, that's a really hard question. You guys are, listen, I'm stumped on that one, honestly. I honestly can't even remember the one that I signed up for because like I'd signed up for one when I was in school and then I signed up for a different one when I started working. And then like once you get your carte vitale, you're also pretty much set. I'm gonna have to like go back and look. I'm so bad with this stuff, guys. And I don't want to like give you wrong information. So ooh, y'all want to get into the finances. So this is more of a question for my one-on-one calls, I would say, when it comes to all of that. And finding work as a student. So I didn't work while I was in my MBA program. Um, I I honestly couldn't. I didn't have the time to. So I did not work, but I found work obviously after I graduated, and I kind of talk more about it in my Find a Job masterclass. But it was a lot of me like hustling. I'm not going to lie. And I'm also grateful that I actually did do my MBA in France because it just helped in terms of networking too. So I feel like it was using my network, it was hustling, being on the job websites. And it was also, if I'm being honest with you guys, it was also understanding how to pitch myself as an expat, like how to use me being a foreigner and like use me being a native English speaker to my advantage. So it was also a lot of that too. Yeah, definitely watch Plan Core. Oh my gosh, I love Plan Core. Oh my gosh. I love that show. It's such a great one. And yeah, try watching it again in only French. Cause like what I've been doing too is it's like forcing myself to only watch shows in French. And it's been helping a lot. But anyways, guys, we're practically an hour in, so I think I'm gonna hop off. But thank you guys so much for hopping on here today. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I love coming on here and just like, answering your questions and whatnot, and also sharing some of the things that I have out. So, and actually before I hop off, I will share with you guys, again, like I'm always looking for ways that I can help support you guys. So if you guys ever have an idea for a masterclass or whatever, just shoot me a DM because I'm all open for ideas. I really right now I'm in a space where I'm looking to figure out how I can use my platform to help support you guys. And at the moment, just so you guys know, like my current offers, again, right now I have the Find a Job in France masterclass that's out. It's living on my website. So if you guys are interested in finding work in France and just have no idea where to start and are just really looking for clarity on how to navigate that journey, that's available to you. And then again, if you are looking for just more easy advice and not signing up for a masterclass, I also have a few videos out on my channel on like kind of how I found my job and working in France. So that's available to you guys. I also more recently just launched one-on-one calls where you can actually book a call with me one-on-one. if you need, and honestly, it's really for anything that you might need help on. So whether it's navigating life in Paris, whether it's tackling a transition, whether it's, you're starting on YouTube or in Instagram, whether it's, building your personal brand and need help with, your aesthetic, whether it's creating content, those calls are really there for you to pick my brain and had a better understanding of how to go about basically anything that you need help with and what I could really help you on. So that's there. I'm actually going to put the link for it again here. But just know that I appreciate you guys so much. I'm so grateful for you guys. I always appreciate the support, and I'm also always looking for ways that I can further support you guys. So thank you so much. Sorry, I was just looking in the chat really quick. I always get distracted by the chat. But thank you guys so much for hopping on this YouTube live with me today. Again, I hope it was helpful for you. And stay tuned for my video next week. It's going to be all about like the first half of my trip in the United States. And you're gonna meet a lot of my friends and family and a lot of these upcoming videos. I also go to New York in another upcoming video. So a lot of really fun content to come. But thank you guys so much again for hopping on, and I will chat with you soon. Bye.